I know you've seen the headlines physicists create. A black hole in the lab, the Earth, is in danger. So what would actually happen if we did create a black hole here on Earth? And the scary thing is, it's actually possible. When you picture a black hole, I'm sure you picture a dark behemoth that swallows up everything in its vicinity. But weirdly, it wouldn't be that dangerous. This is really because it would just be too hard for us to make one massive enough to cause some serious damage. For example, if you squish the Earth down to the size of an ice cube, it would become a black hole. If you don't get too close to the black hole, you're completely safe. There is a boundary around the black hole, known as the event horizon, but I like to think of it like the point of no return. If anything crosses this boundary, there's no coming back, even light. This is because the pull of gravity towards the center of the black hole is just too strong. You would need to move faster than the speed of light to escape, something not allowed in our universe. But for a black hole made in the lab, this boundary would just be too small. If you made a black hole out of just 1 kilogram of mass, its event horizon would be 1 trillion times smaller than a proton. So far, no black holes have been created here on Earth. And if one day we do manage to do so, I want you to not be scared, because we probably will be just fine. What if you jumped into a hole through Earth? Have you ever wondered what would happen if we dug a hole straight through the Earth and you jumped right through it? Now, obviously this has some complications, because if we dug a hole straight through the Earth, there would be some serious damage done. The team at Debunked made this really cool animation to help visualize things. Now, obviously we would need to remove all the air from the tunnel to reduce the influence of drag. And you need to wear a spacesuit to give you oxygen and prevent the heat in the core from cooking you alive. But once you're suited up and ready to go, something unbelievable happens. You get quicker and quicker as you get closer to the core, traveling much faster than the speed of sound. Once you pass through to the other side, you'll begin to slow down as gravity begins pulling against you. And the best part is the forces perfectly balanced. So you'll come out the other side with no velocity, free to just grab onto something and hop out. If you forgot to grab something though, you'd be sent all the way back to the start. And my favorite part about this hypothetical scenario is how long it would take you to travel from one side of the Earth to the other. Just 38 minutes to fall all the way through the Earth and come out the other side. Imagine how quick international travel would become. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know I love talking about the most wonderful and wild planets in our universe, the Diamond Planet. And this is one of my favorites. While it looks quite boring from the outside, it might have a core completely made out of diamonds. Now we all know the saying pressure makes diamonds, but it's actually true. The planet is a hot Jupiter orbiting really close to its star. This causes extreme temperatures on the planet. And because there's so much carbon in the atmosphere, scientists believe that the core of the planet, this carbon, could be pressurized so much to create diamonds. But this beautiful core is hidden from our sight by these huge dark clouds made of methane that absorb 94% of all light that hits it. This makes it potentially the darkest planet in the universe. And it gets even crazier. Because the planet is so close to its sun, it's being pulled apart by gravity, causing it to deform into this weird egg shape. It will for just 3 million more years before it meets its fiery death. So next time you look at your diamond rings, just remember, maybe they aren't that rare. After all, the largest image taken by Hubble. While this probably looks like just a normal image of the galaxy Andromeda, it's actually the largest image ever captured by the Hubble Space Telescope. It contains 1.5 billion pixels and shows Over 100 million individual stars stretched out across 40,000 light-years of space. There is this really fun online tool that I've linked below where you can zoom all the way in and play around. As you zoom in and out, I want you to really remember that all these dots that you see are stars just as big and beautiful as our very own sun, with their own set of beautiful planets surrounding them. It is truly special to see the real scale of a galaxy like this. And I don't know about you, but it really makes me realize just how tiny we are. The scariest space fact. Now, the next fact is probably the scariest fact about space I know. So be prepared. Imagine we put you in a spacesuit and took you on a tour of the universe. Out near the planets, you'd have a pretty good view. And as we leave the galaxy, you might even get to see some other beautiful galaxies. But in deep space, things would get scary. There are places in our universe, in the dark space between galaxies, where you would see nothing at all in any direction. I want you to really try and picture that you alone, floating through space, and you can't see anything. Terrifying stuff. What if the sun became a black hole? Okay, now here's a fun one. What would happen if the sun became a black hole right now, like right this second? What would if you said it would go dark and we would be sucked into the black hole, doomed to meet our fate? You would be wrong. Now, first of all, don't be scared. The sun isn't big enough to become a black hole. But if hypothetically, the sun just randomly became a black hole with the same mass as it has today, not that much would change. It would take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for us to notice anything at all. That is the time it takes light to reach us as it travels to us from the sun. But then things would get cold, like really cold. But we wouldn't be just randomly sucked into the black hole. In fact, our orbits would be perfectly identical. The gravitational influence would be the same as the sun because they have the same mass. Oh, and the other cool thing is this. Sun mass black hole would be just 3 kilometers wide compared to the sun's radius of nearly 700,000 kilometers. This is maybe the coolest fact about space. Time travel is real. I ever learned when I was a child. Time travel is real. Seriously. The speed of light is really quick. Like this is how long it takes light to travel around the Earth once. But compared to the size of the universe, it's actually really slow. And because of this, we are always seeing things as they were in the past. When we look at a planet 500 light years away, we are seeing what it looked like 500 years ago because it has taken that long for the light to travel to us from the planet. Now here's where things get crazy. If there are aliens out there in the universe somewhere with advanced technologies, they will be seeing Earth as it was in the past. If they were watching from around 100 light years away, they would get to watch World War I unfolding in real time. From 1500 light years away, they will be watching the Roman Empire fall. From 65 million light years away, they would just see dinosaurs wandering the Earth, no humans. And from 5 billion light years away, there would be no Earth there yet, just a cloud of dust and gas. And really think about that. They aren't watching a movie of these things taking place. This is what Earth looks like to them in real time. If that doesn't blow your mind, I'm not sure what will. Sponsor. I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Delete Me. And I'm actually genuinely excited to tell you about them. I personally have been getting a ton of spam calls and emails over the last few months, and it really started to annoy me. So I actually looked into how to get my name and number removed from these big lists that data brokers sell to advertising agencies. And you actually can do it, but the issue is you would have to personally contact hundreds of these data brokers individually and request to be removed. and I'm too busy making videos. So I just don't have the time for that. And that's when Delete Me reached out. They offer a hands-free subscription service that prevents your personal information from being sold online. I signed up and used it, and they've already reviewed over 700 listings for me and taken my name off any list where I was found. I can't recommend Delete Me enough. I've received noticeably less phone calls and emails from when I started using their service. So head to joindelateam.com/our channel The Science Signal and use the code our channel The Science Signal for 20% off your subscription. Thanks again to Delete Me for sponsoring this video, because without partners like them, I wouldn't be able to make videos like this for you. Now back to those space facts. This is my favorite picture of Earth. My favorite space picture. No, really, look all the way down here. That's us. The image was taken on July 19, 2013. And the coolest part is it's the first time people knew they were having their picture taken from space. And so everyone got together and posed for the Cassini spacecraft millions of miles away. Think of it like one big family photo. Everyone who has ever lived came from that little speck right there. Beautiful. A fact that's slightly less beautiful is that poo on the moon. There is really poo on the moon. In these bags, they left a lot of stuff on the moon, actually. Drills, batteries, used food containers, towels, cameras, shoes. And yes, astronaut poo. But in my opinion, it's a worthwhile trade, because they could bring back more moon rocks for scientists to study. But still, something about there being poo on the moon right now just doesn't sit right with me. Where is Starman now? Back in 2018, SpaceX sent Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster into space. But where is it now? Well, it actually now orbits the sun just like the Earth, taking over 500 days to complete one full orbit. They actually originally tried hitting Mars with it, but this made some scientists mad out of fear of bacterial contamination. They actually did miss though. But it was kind of fitting, because as it launched, the car's stereo was playing David Bowie's song, Life on Mars. If the battery is still working, Starman will have heard this song on loop more than 200,000 times now. In fact, Starman has traveled so far that it could have driven all of Earth's roads 70 times by now. Scientists have actually modeled the orbit and believe there is a 22% chance it hits Earth in the next 15 million years. It will make a close pass by in the year 2047. And if I can find a space company who will send me up there, I'll happily jump in the passenger seat to go for a quick tour of the solar system. If I tell you to picture the Earth, Point Nemo, from space, I can just guarantee you picture something like this, right? But something we never talk about is how half the Earth is actually just ocean. Well, really 71% is ocean, but this side of the Earth is nearly completely water. This point in the ocean is known as Point Nemo, not because of the fish, but actually because Nemo in Latin means no one. If you were at Point Nemo, you would be 3,500 kilometers away from any inhabited land. Meaning if the ISS flew over your head, you would be closer to the astronauts on board than any other humans down here on Earth. It is just so remote and empty that pretty much every space agency chooses to crash their old satellites and spacecraft into the oceans out here. And this is actually what's going to happen to the ISS later this decade when it gets decommissioned. It will come crashing down at Point Nemo, lost forever.